Hello, I am your host, Doc Rotten, and this is Horror News Radio, the official Gruesome Magazine podcast. Back with me again this week are the scariest, goriest, bloodiest co-hosts on the net, and tonight we're reviewing Wrong Turn, rebooting the franchise. I know you've seen all 7 films. I know it. No, you probably haven't. All right, joining me tonight is award-winning filmmaker Christopher G. Moore. Christopher, how you doing? And congratulations on all the awards. You actually did win this past week.
I won a lot this week. We won like 13 awards in total. I mean, 12 just at one film festival. So that's kind of crazy.
That is unheard of. That's awesome.
I know. I was like, because I was watching the awards live, and I was like, and they kept saying, "Oh my God, it's Backward Creep again." And I was like, well, okay. All right, I'm not used to this. Like somebody playing a game. I kept thinking that some guy was going to come out and say, "You're punked. You win all these awards."
Psych! Yeah. All right. Also joining us tonight is podcasting rock star and international cosplay queen, Vanessa Thompson, and who also needs to get congratulations because she won her first award for Backwoods.
Thank you.
Congratulations!
That's cast ensemble. It's all those great acting by our actors and actresses,
and they all do a great job. They deserve it. Yes. Thanks. All right, so we are here to talk about Wrong Turn. This is the 2021 film none of us saw coming. But did we actually like it? Well, that's what the next 30 minutes is going to all be about. We're going to give our first impression, and then we're going to talk about the film for a little bit, and then we're going to wrap things up with our final thoughts, our score, a 1 to 5, and our favorite scene. Yep. All right. So what is this film, this crazy film? Wrong Turn. This land is their land. Other ones will have something about, the foundation. We'll get into all that. We might. I don't know. Are we going to be able to keep it from doing spoilers? I don't know. All right. It's available on demand, digital, Blu-ray, DVD, February 23rd, 2021. It is directed by Mike P. Nelson, written by Alan B. McElroy. The cast includes Charlotte Vega, Aidan Bradley, Bill Sage, Emma DeMont, Dylan McTee, Daisy Head, Tim DeZarn, and the one and only Matthew Modine. Yes, thank you very much. All right, the synopsis is a backwoods terror and never-jangling suspense meet when Jen and a group of friends set out to hike the Appalachian Trail. Despite warnings to stick to the trail, the hikers stray off course and cross into land inhabited by the Foundation, a hidden community of mountain dwellers who use deadly means to protect their way of life. Suddenly, under siege, Jen and her friends seem headed to the point of no return unless Jen's father can reach them in time. That is literally the entire plot. You know everything. Devil's in the details. All right, let's do this. Let's do our first impressions of Wrong Turn. And you know what, Vanessa? You're up first.
Me first. First impression. Well, I never saw the original.
Dirt.
Any of the 7. Is this like the original? Before I give my first impression from y'all that have seen it, does this fall in line?
They make a joke at the very end that basically plays into what the originals were.
Right. So the originals were more about inbred cannibals.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And that's where the jokes came from. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm glad this took a bit of a different turn. A wrong turn, a right turn, who knows? My first impression as I was watching it was that I wasn't impressed. And I think that is because when the original came out, you could make that type of movie where you still had a bunch of idiots doing idiot things. And that doesn't really work anymore in today's society, in our culture. If you're an idiot, then they're going to let you die nowadays. Or you have to be a really funny stoner idiot, or I don't know. There was something about the group that I could tell was hearkening back to the original movie, but that just wasn't working for me today, regardless if they had new jobs or whatever. Beyond that, though, once we started getting into the action and things started picking up, then I was like, okay, okay, I'm feeling this a little bit more. I'm liking all the gore because no big spoiler, it's pretty gory at times, and I really enjoyed that. I didn't hate the character design that we had. So it had things that kind of won me over, especially at the very end. I was definitely I was really trying not to like it because at the beginning I was like, I almost turned it off. I'm glad I pushed through though, because the ending was a really great payoff. And I think our lead actress did a really great job. And one of the biggest negatives, I think, for me is I wish they would have developed her a little bit more, her character a little bit more. I wish we could have understood and felt more with her a little bit, because I think it would have made that what happens in the end and her and what she goes through a little bit more meaningful, or we would care a little bit more, we'd be a little bit more invested. But outside of that, yeah, it started off real poor for me, but then ended pretty well.
All right. Okay, you scared me there for a minute, but I think the scares aren't over. All right, Christopher G. Moore, what was your first impression of Wrong Turn? And before you do, I just want to correct something that this film is the 7th film. So there's 6 other films and this one. So I wasn't quite correct.
Yeah. Well, there's parts I hated in this film, mainly because of how the characters that they have in it, especially this hipster group, which, I applaud them for creating sort of a diverse group of characters. There's like a gay couple and, the black guy with his white girlfriend and all this stuff. But there are still characters I really were kind of annoying and kind of self-centered and like, I'm better than you. So you kind of like, I don't really care if these characters get killed. And that kind of annoyed me. I think the one thing that I will give this film a gold star for is telling a different story. Because I think the original ones were just your traditional people go out in the woods and they get caught by these inbred rednecks that, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre meets, The Hills Have Eyes or something like that. And this sort of took it in more of a folk horror direction without being too spoilery. That really added. I think I was joking in my mind. It's kind of like a forest version of Midsommar, but
mid fall.
Yeah, mid forest. So. And something about that, the leader of the group, at first when he took his mask off, I thought it was Cliff from Cheers. I thought it was John Ratzenberger.
Oh my God, that's great.
And I was like, well, now you have my interest. And then I was like, that's not John Ratzenberger.
Oh my God.
Have a beer.
And he takes it off and he's got like his postal uniform on.
Hey, where am I?
Which would have made sense if he showed up at the bar later.
Last I heard, Cliff. I was a potato.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
Which you
got me giggling.
Although Matthew Modine does look a little bit like the Ted Danson is now.
You're not wrong, man. You're not wrong.
But again, I don't know. But then that's the. I don't know. I have to agree with Vanessa. I think the main female character, who's almost like the final girl to some degree, she's not as developed as other characters are. Our boyfriend we get more information about him than we do her. So then I don't really understand. I mean, other than she can, change a tire. We know that she's preserving, I guess. We really don't know much other than, her trying to make this decision. And I think some of her decisions where she's trying to like be the moral high ground in certain situations, and that she does other stuff that kind of goes against the moral high ground. So I don't know. And then there's like, I think the whole situation, how she has to sort of deal with it. It made me very mad. Because I felt like we had a female character she's having to do things that feel kind of demoralizing, that the guys don't have to deal with. You know, the guys seem to have more abilities that they could use, as opposed to hers is like, oh, I'll just use my body. And that annoyed me to no degree. No, and I will say the ending is a little bit better now that I didn't watch it in credits. So
Yeah, be sure
you guys
watch the
tell
credits.
I may have to go after this. I'll have to watch it real quick.
Please do.
And I think that the ending that you mentioned sounds a better way to end it. If it had ended the way it does before the credits, I was like mad. I was like, this, I just wanted to bash in the filmmakers' heads for making me sit through this and then having to like, oh, this is how you're going to end it. And then it's almost like a double ending. It's almost like a triple ending thing. But yeah, I love that they have this whole interesting mythology, just interesting, and it creates this whole other world that isn't your traditional inbreds in the woods type thing, that actually takes it in a different direction. But then I just feel like some stupid decisions of some of these characters, especially the boyfriend. He's always talking about, oh, I want a world where we can all live together and be diverse, and then like, I want to go check out the Confederate fort. Why? I don't understand. Yeah. So anyway, I have mixed feelings about this film. I definitely don't. Well, I guess we'll find out how you feel, Doc. But I think I'm probably the person that probably likes it the least than everybody else.
That may be true. Okay, I agree with Vanessa as well in some cases, because I do think that the beginning of this film leaves a little to be desired. Right? It's the character. I mean, you were saying that they felt better than everybody else, but really every group of characters feel like they're better than everybody else, right? From the townsfolk to them, to the father even, and definitely to the foundation. They all think they're better than everybody else. So it's not, I don't think they stood out in that respect. And they were more diverse. And I don't know, I don't know. This movie won me over pretty quickly after a tree rolls down the hill. Once that happens, I was kind of fully on board. I was just kind of like, okay, let's get on with it. Let's get on with it. My popcorn's about to run out, and if I run out of popcorn, I might walk away and get more popcorn. but no, it was time. They couldn't have pushed it any much further, if you ask me. But once that happens, and let's just say the body count starts to rise, and more people get introduced, and then other people get introduced, and then the father circles back around in the story, a part that I really liked. I loved Matthew Modine in this movie. Matthew Modine, like in the past couple of years, I've seen him like at least 2 horror films. This one and
Stranger Things.
Oh yeah, Stranger Things too. I was. Oh yeah, that's right, Stranger Things. Yes, I thought you said The Strangers, but he was in Stranger Things, and then he was also in 47 meters down 2 or 48 meters down or whatever the hell they did.
Oh yeah, he was the.
Yeah, and I liked him in that too. I don't know. I really liked him in this, and
I don't remember him in that.
But okay. So hear me out here. I kind of love this movie, but is it good? No, it's preposterous. There's things in here that are just like, no, no, that's not no. I mean. They're in the Appalachians, on the Appalachian Trail, and this is like, yeah, I mean, it's wooded and it's hilly, and there's a lot of, but this is preposterous. This is not going to, and I'm pretty sure I recognize that waterfall, and that waterfall is in North Carolina.
I remember we talked about that before. See, I know it.
I've been to that waterfall. Mm-hmm. It's not in Virginia, but that's okay. We've done that before. But anyway, that happens all over. Most New York scenes are actually in Canada somewhere. But anyway, so it doesn't matter. But I found myself about halfway through, about the time that they're all kneeling and we're getting ready to get our Walking Dead moment. And if you've seen the movie, you know what I mean. There aren't zombies, but there is a Walking Dead moment, and that should spoil it. They, about that time, I thought to myself, how in the hell am I liking it? How did this movie win me over? I'm liking this movie. This movie has won me over. I really liked our lead character, and I found her decisions to be a little bit more calculated and brave. I mean, I get where you're coming from, Christopher, and it certainly is a dangerous, thread to weave there to get the right impression across, because they don't give her enough background to really substantiate her. And that's unfortunate, because she is the most intelligent. She is the most capable of the group. Even though when it comes down to it, what she can contribute to, the situation isn't as strong as
I think
others.
that kind of speaks of her character, though, and that also falls back on they didn't develop her enough, because there's a point where she's talking about, I don't know what I'm going to do. I have 2 masters and I work at a coffee shop.
Yeah.
So you get little things like that, which I think then led her to saying, all I have to give is my body because I'm nothing. But I don't think they really built that up enough to where it would feel satisfying.
Right. They did that with the father. They tried to do it with the background with the father, and she has a stepmother, and and there was like these scenes, but I feel like there's a lot that maybe was in the script or got filmed that didn't make it to the final cut.
Yeah, but even so, the thing, there's that one scene between the father and her like stepmom, and it almost feels like that she's wanting him to care more about the kids than her.
Yeah.
So we don't. It's more about them, and so. Yeah. I think that's probably the biggest fault with this film, is that there's not enough fleshed out information for this main actress, or her character, to where most of her stuff is her like no doing that, instead of giving information that we kind of need to understand why she's so willing to play along. And then we have almost like a little time jump thing that goes like it goes to Mad Maxville pretty quick.
That is a major gripe of mine overall in filmmaking. I hate the 6 weeks earlier. Start your movie when your movie starts. That bothers the heck out of me. But that's not just this movie. That's overall.
I don't mind it if it's done well, but this it kept flipping back and forth.
Yeah.
And to your thing, Doc, about the big tree rolling downhill.
Yes.
You can go left or right. Why is everybody running straight forward?
That was great.
You have a log rolling down straight at you. Go left or right. Don't keep running forward. I felt like Wile E. Coyote showed it up or something.
These are city dummies. They don't know what they're doing.
I was like, these people deserve to die. I mean, and I think that's when I realized I'm kind of tuning out, to where I think that's why certain films kind of work, because you're more like, oh, let's see how this person's going to get killed, as opposed to, oh, I hope they survive.
Yeah.
I mean, you do feel. I mean, I think probably. I mean, one of the more better moments is when. Well, I don't. There's a certain person. Well. I feel like a spoiler. Well, there's a certain person that dies, and you feel bad for the other person. Let's just say that, without giving anything away.
Okay. The first one, I think. Right?
Oh yes. Okay.
Yeah, it's a relationship.
Yeah, you
have a relationship.
Yeah, you actually feel for that, and then.
But then there's this asshole.
There is.
There's this asshole.
And he's the one that's messed it up for everybody.
He's pretty bad.
And I just hate him. I'm like, he's the one that causes all this, pretty much causes most of the issues.
Well, yeah, yes. But at the same time, I thought they set it up where it was, I believe that would be that character's response to that situation, because they don't have all the information, and you think, the way they played it out. I actually, if you're talking about when we first see the guys with the horns, I like that. I thought it played out really well.
Well, but he's asshole way before that though. And then I'm like, why is this girl with him?
Well,
why is this quirky medical girl? Why is she with him?
She definitely begins to question that.
Like, don't ever leave me again. And of course he does. But I love the escape. It's not spoiling anything that there's escape, but I loved it. If nothing else, the look on Matthew Modine's face through most of it was just
when she finds her daughter turned into Katniss from.
Well, I was thinking more like Rambo, but Katniss works. He's just like, what the fuck? I don't know. This movie won me over.
Can they grow facial hair that fast?
Of course. Have you never seen a commercial?
That bushy though?
I don't know,
6
man.
weeks?
I didn't.
6 weeks? You're gonna have like a beard out to here in 6 weeks?
I don't know, man. It's
or maybe it's because I can't grow.
I can't grow one at all. It takes me 6 years, and this is it. But I've seen other people that a week later, and they're like.
I know. I feel like, Anyway, I don't know. When I start picking at the logic, I've kind of tuned out.
Yeah, you're
and
I'm
like,
there's some of that in this, though.
And I feel like the movie's too long too.
Well, and I think
could have been edited down.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem. I think the parts that we want in there got cut out, and some of the scenes that left in probably could have got cut. But I want to really stop. I mean, I love the lead actress, but Bill Sage as the bad guy who looked pretty coiffed.
Cliff.
Cliff looked pretty well.
I was like, is this a Pixar film?
Yeah. But he looked pretty well kept for being who he was. But I like this actor. We reviewed his film. He was in the Pale Door last year, and he was really good. He was kind of the gunslinger in that. And he's in what was that movie back in the day? We Are What We Are. He's the dad in that. So and there's plenty of other things if you look at his IMDb. But I thought I liked his character. I thought he was perfect for what he was, except how clean cut he was. That's the only thing that kept bothering me. It's like,
compared to everybody else, unless he's living a dual life, and they didn't let us in on that either, Right.
And the ending kind of gives you the impression that maybe that's true.
Yeah.
Well, you have that one guy who seems to go outside the.
Well, even the girls were, outside.
They were out there, but they weren't.
But they still look dirty, though.
Yeah.
They still look like extras from Mad Max.
Yeah, they really,
like the little feral kid from Mad Max too.
I do have to say I liked what they did with the foundation in that and this may be spoiler, but I don't think it's too big of a spoiler, and if it is, it might be something you would like to hear before watching this. But I like that they weren't just backwoods rednecks. I like that it wasn't just a bunch of incest rednecks, and I like that there wasn't any rape. That is one thing that really turns me off. And I know that's the intention of that. But you still made a fun horror film dealing with those kinds of topics without rape in it. And that is a big deal to me, and it was very refreshing to have a movie like that, because they really easily could have turned that situation differently, and it could have been a rape situation. And I'm glad that it was more of consensual, with the quotes, because it's not something she really necessarily wanted to do, but had to do. But I don't know.
It was a calculated decision.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I don't know. I do appreciate that about the film, and I know that had to be taken into consideration when they made this, because it easily could have gone that way.
Well, and I think, that and you have that community is actually made up of diverse people. It's not just a bunch of white guys in the woods.
Yeah.
And that made it a little bit different too. And I think that's what I liked about it. That aspect that I liked.
Yeah.
I liked how this whole mythology of how these people in the woods came about, and how it's not just a bunch of people screwing their sister in the woods and killing people to eat their body parts. It's much different than that.
Stop.
What?
Nothing. Go ahead. Keep going. Not you.
Yeah, it's not like Deliverance or something, you know. But yeah, but you know, and they did have their own like interest in community and stuff that was
Their own in
you know,
language too.
yeah, because you felt like, and then I kept thinking, like the movie The Village. I kept thinking about the movie The Village, you know, where you have these group of people out in the woods, like living very feral and
Science
with like
experiment.
hides, and you almost like walked like into some kind of time travel or something to back in the day, or how people used to live.
Yeah.
So that was kind of interesting, how their own community, their own laws, and then you know they wear like the hides of these skulls and stuff, and so that created sort of a creepy look to them. And again, that's the whole folk horror thing.
Yeah,
Right.
Played into that much more without the supernatural aspect.
Yeah, and I like the way he explained it. It was like, you know, we just wear this so when we hunt, we don't get seen. It is not what your people do. There's some interesting things going on here that are woven in between really preposterous things. But last thing before we give our final thoughts, if you are a gore hound and like your gore, this film has it. There are face smashings, there are knives, and there's traps, all kinds of. There is an amazing thing with something that falls out of a tree that was just the whole way it played, and it was shot well too. The way Matthew Modine's face went into the camera, and you still got the idea of what happened.
Well, also hot pokers getting.
Hot pokers,
hot pokers enough. Hot pokers enough.
Yes. Oh, the hot pokers was bad, and that's in the trailer, so it's not a spoiler.
That was a reveal and a half.
Yes. All right. Let's do this. Let's wrap this up with our final thoughts, our score 1 to 5, and our favorite scene. But before we do, if you're still listening, we want to thank you. Thank you for listening. We hope you are enjoying our reviews and our takes on these films. If you want to help us out and you want to do it for free, it's really easy. All you have to do is hit the subscribe button. That really helps. If you want to share with a friend, that helps as well. If you want to get a little bit more involved, hit the like button, and so you can get notifications if you hit the bell for future episodes. As I stumble over English, we also would like to hear some comments. If and when you catch this film, let us know what you think. If it succeeds or just falls flat on his face. Either way, we want to hear from you. We also want to take a quick moment to thank our patrons who, without their help, we would not be able to continue doing this. So not only the H&R Horror News Radio podcast, but the Gruesome Magazine Decades of Horror. And we also do Heroes and Droids, where we've been looking at WandaVision lately, and that's been a hell of a lot of fun. All right, so let's do this. Our final thoughts, our score, and favorite scene. Vanessa, you are up first.
Well, as I said earlier, it took a while for me to get into it. And I will go ahead and say this is a fun movie to watch. It's got lots of tropes in it. It's got dumb people doing dumb things. It's got great gore. It's got some great costuming in it. And it's got a really great ending that you need to wait for.
Yes, the ending is during the credits. We can't.
Yes, please watch the credits.
Watch it all the way through. Yes. And like I said earlier, I'm glad that they stayed away from those three just over and done with kind of tropes, the incest, the rednecks, and the rape. Like, we can make great movies, we can make great horror that doesn't have to deal with those topics because, there's enough horror there already. So it definitely won me over, I think, in the end. Favorite scene. What stood out to me the most was when our lead female protagonist, she really comes out and she's like, I've had enough. And she starts beating the crap out of everybody that's standing in her way from getting out. And I was like, yes. And she's just, in 6 weeks, she's become a total badass. And I really, really liked seeing that. And, there's an interaction between her and her father when they first meet each other again that sends it in a different direction, and you can kind of think it's going to go one way or the other, but I'm glad of the direction that it took, without trying to give away too much. But yeah, definitely, especially when her and the daughter butt heads there at the end.
Oh yes,
that was great. I think I'm going to give this one a 3.
3.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, Christopher G. Moore, you're up next. Your final thoughts, your score, 1 to 5, and your favorite scene.
Well, Wrong Tour is a little bit of a detour. You can sort of tell it's written by a guy. But I think if anything, I'm glad. I mean, I think when they try to do a new version of something that we're kind of used to, it's kind of nice when they do something a little bit different. And I'll give the film that much, is that I really love the new mythology around it. It's not just a bunch of inbred people in the woods having their way with people, and doing something different where, we have this whole sort of culture, in the woods and stuff. And I like that aspect of it. But then it also has your normal things that we find in these type of films where you have the hipster characters, going out into places they probably shouldn't be going especially when several of them are assholes.
Nobody even calls people hipsters anymore. That threw me off. Like, really?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I felt like
country.
Well, that, and I feel like they fit the trope of hipsters. They're like, the way they're talking, like, oh, we need to help. I mean, I almost like I rolled my eyes when he's like in bed with the girlfriend. He's like, I want to do something right with my life. I didn't want to become a Wall Street business person. Yeah. I want to help people. And I was like, oh, I think I just threw up in my mouth. I hope you die. No. But, yeah, but I think, and then you have people automatically having the ability to shoot bows. Well, all of a sudden. But I don't know. I do like the aspect, the mythological aspect of this community that lives out in the woods, and I think that sort of takes it above other things, even if you get irritated with the characters. But yeah, I think it's a little bit long, and and I think they definitely should have done a better job with fleshing out the main female character, because then I would have. Because you really don't understand the real motivations behind what she does, and then how she's able, just telling some people, just showing them that they can change a tire doesn't necessarily mean that they're gonna, become Mad Maxine by the end. So I don't know. It got better towards the end when she's, having to, when people have to fight their way out of certain situations. And I'm kind of glad that there is the end credit sequence now that I know about it, because I was literally mad. I wanted to throw my computer screen out the window, because I just hate it when you have people that are able to fight their way out of certain situations, and it feels like, oh, this is all for nothing.
Excuse me. I think somebody named Sam Raimi did that once in Drag Me to Hell.
Oh.
That's how you do it the right way.
Okay.
That's a little bit better. At least we have a fleshed out character.
Yeah. I can't argue with that. But no, you need to, everybody, watch the end.
Yeah, watch that. I think that, and then you can have a better opinion of what the film's about. Even after knowing it, I'm still not as big a lover as this film as Doc is. So if I had to give it a rating,
yeah, you have to.
I'll give it a middle of the road. I'll give it a 2.5. Okay. It's not going to be in my top 10 list any time, unless it's the other top 10. But as for favorite scene, there's a scene where they have to escape through the dark,
Yes.
this dark place, and then you find out the hot pokers. Anybody who gets touched by the hot poker, what happens to them? And that was actually a very creepy scene. And I mean, even I was like, "Ooh, I would not want to be having to go through that part."
It was like creepy sad.
Yeah,
which makes it even worse.
Yeah, because it's like you realize all those people that supposedly got lost in the woods, that some of them are still alive, and they're like, "Oh,
my nephew disappeared." Well, I think we might have seen him.
Yeah, so
rock number 3.
So that I think scenes like that. I think again that the mythology and how all these things work. Just add an extra level of creepiness as opposed to just like a bunch of dead bodies or something. So I think that scene, I was like, ooh, this is kind of creepy.
Very creepy.
And then the last shot where a couple of them got out the front door and
and they turn it. And then that goes Walking Dead.
Having a little snack. Yeah. But that's not the Walking Dead scene I was talking about.
Oh, I know, but it's
like that. Just exactly how did that guy die? So this, I don't know what it is about this movie. About halfway through, I realized I was really having a good time with it. I like the lead enough to care about her. A couple of the others I cared enough to want them to get what they got coming, right? So I don't know it, and I love Matthew Modine in this movie. I really liked him. I had a good time with this. I laughed out loud a couple times. I gasped at some of the gore. There's a couple shots so it got me at first. I was like, oh crap, we're not going to see anything, right? Mm-hmm. We're not going to see anything. And then the other guys, crying and boohooing, and we get the shot and like, oh shit, we're going to see everything. I'm like, oh God. And it just kept going from there. There's some brutal moments in here. It doesn't go crazy overboard. It's not like Dawn of the Dead or anything, but at the same time,
it's all practical, right?
It feels that way. It feels
it looks. So, yeah. I mean, the special effects look really good.
Yeah. And I just really liked our lead character, and I liked how intelligent she was. Now, was she smart? She's intelligent for this group of characters. Let's put it that way. And she's intelligent. She's the most intelligent person in the entire movie, maybe outside of Matthew Modine's character. But because this movie is preposterous in a lot of ways. And I grew up in the Appalachians in Virginia, so I'm like, okay, you got to be worried more about the guys that are growing weed than you're worried about these guys.
Yeah, right.
They're the ones that are gonna,
I think we've seen a horror movie or two that dealt with that.
We might have. But yeah, let's just say that there are bigger dangers out there that are real. But anyway, that's I digress. I enjoyed this movie. I'm giving it a 4. I'm giving it a solid, happy. I'm absolutely strong 4. Thank you. And I think a lot of horror fans may like this. I don't know. It's a different age, and there may be, there's the woke nature of this world may, keep it from people to really like it, because it does kind of walk that line a little much. And I appreciated that it wasn't about what you were talking about, Vanessa. It was more about it was about trespassing, right? It was like there was a home invasion of sorts.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
Right. My favorite scene though is the last half of the film. No, my favorite scene. I want to go with the ending. And
do it.
And I'm not going. Well, okay. I'm going to go with 2 favorite scenes. The ending you've got to watch because it just made me so happy. The very final stretch. I mean, they're playing. I forget what the song. It's a pretty interesting song too. It's like one of those slowed down remakes that they do.
Oh, I
now
can't
and then.
remember either.
But it seemed
This
to
land
fit.
is your land. Isn't that what they were
that's
playing?
right.
Yeah.
That's right. Which fit, right?
Yeah.
But I loved it. It's just this one single shot, and it goes on forever. And then after even the characters go out of shot, I'm like, did they freeze frame? And I'm looking and I'm still seeing the leaves are moving. I'm like, no, it's not freeze frame. That poor stupid sod is laying in the street still. I loved it. If it wasn't that, it's going to be when that big boulder with all those knives fell down on our two guys that were
The one that
that the whole trap, because there's a number of traps. Some of them we actually see work, other ones they just spring and they don't get it. But this one, the way they built the scene up, some people are going to just go, this is ridiculous. But I enjoyed it. I was like, okay, he's getting closer. He's getting closer. He's getting closer. It's going to happen. And what really won me over is the way they shot it, because when it happened, Matthew Modine's character jumps out of the way. Spoilers, but that's fine. Jumps out of the way, and his face lands right in the camera in focus, and you get the idea. You still get the impression of what happened, right?
Mhm.
And you just see the look on his face, and it's just like, goddamn, I like that shot. I really like that shot. It was really well. And he's like, I don't know what the character's name, but he's like, Fred. That's not going to answer.
Oh, I hope he got his money back from that.
I don't think it mattered at that point.
I don't know. That's what I was thinking about.
But there you go. That's our review for Wrong Turn. This is the 7th in the series, and it's, I guess, rebooting it because it's not really the same. Although it's aware enough to know of its position in that. So the little joke about the film, what film we're going to watch tonight, I thought was pretty funny. And then there are cannibals in it, sort of.
Sort of, yeah.
All right. Yeah, think about it. There are.
Sorry, Dad.
I hope you get to watch this movie. Let us know down below. It comes out on the 23rd of February, 2021. All right. Christopher, Vanessa, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I always love it when we've been on like in sync, right? Simpatico for so long. I really like it when we disagree.
I'll see it a little bit differently.
You can't like everything.
No.
Or can't hate everything.
That might be true. Might be true. All right. With that, let's say good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.